Okay, let's unpack this one. Today, we're doing a deep dive, a really different kind of deep dive than we've done before. We're going to explore what this claimed non-human entity named Lacerta, what they supposedly say about Earth's hidden history. You know, ancient civilizations, advanced tech, the whole package. Our mission, like always, is to give you that shortcut, get you well informed, maybe find some surprising facts, those real aha moments that make you, well, rethink everything you thought you knew. About our planet, anyway. Our source material for this is, well, pretty fascinating. It's a Q&A session from a website, asklacerta.com. It's set up as this, like, interactive portal for talking with this entity. Now, we're definitely approaching this with an open mind, right, and curiosity. We're taking the information presented as, let's say, factual for the sake of discussion. We're not endorsing the claims, not at all, but we're using it as a lens, you know, to see what patterns pop up, what insights emerge. It's really an exploration into a very challenging, unconventional view of our past and our present.
Yeah, and what's really fascinating here is how this information challenges the standard narratives. Not just scientifically, but like on a societal level too. We'll try to connect some dots, you know, between ancient history, claims of advanced tech, and what these kinds of revelations could mean for how we understand humanity's place in the cosmos even. It really encourages you to think critically about how information gets controlled, how it's presented to the public, and honestly about the very nature of what we accept as history.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we're better to jump in than with one of Earth's most iconic structures. Instantly recognizable. The Pyramids of Giza. You've seen them everywhere, right? Documentaries, books. But prepare to have your basic understanding of these monuments, maybe even human history itself, completely redefined. So, okay, Giza, let's try and peel back some layers here. Layers of sand, centuries of assumptions. For most people, the image is pretty fixed, isn't it? Massive tombs built for pharaohs, monuments to the dead. But Lacerta offers something radically different, a much older origin story.
That's right. The core claim is that the Great Pyramid, as we call it, was actually built roughly 75,000 years ago. Now, that immediately just blows conventional timelines out of the water, doesn't it? Egyptology doesn't even consider dates that far back for these structures. Lacerta places it within what they call Earth's third civilization cycle. It forces you to sort of reevaluate the whole timeline for human development.
75,000 years. I mean, that's not just tweaking the dates a bit. That's a monumental leap back. And if it is that old, then the whole idea of it being a pharaoh's tomb, you know, for some specific ruler from a relatively recent dynasty, it just doesn't fit, does it? Archaeologists have based centuries of work on that fundamental idea.
Exactly. And Lacerta is very explicit about this. The pyramid was not built primarily as a tomb. That belief, according to Lacerta, is a fundamental misinterpretation by our archaeologists, just wrong. Instead, it's categorized as an energy device.
An energy device.
Yeah, think about that shift. From a static monument to death for a king to this dynamic, functional powerhouse built with ancient, highly advanced technology. It completely reframes its significance, its entire purpose.
An energy device from 75,000 years ago. Okay, that sounds like pure sci-fi.
Yeah.
In Lacerta's telling, how would something like that even work? What are the principles?
Well, the explanation goes into some detail. It apparently utilized principles we might sort of broadly call free energy, or maybe more specifically, energy derived using sophisticated crystalline technology. Its geometric alignment wasn't just symbolic, it was functional, designed to sync up with specific celestial bodies and, critically, Earth's own magnetic fields.
So not just grand architecture, but a finely tuned machine.
Precisely. Leveraging physics we don't recognize, apparently, to harness and distribute energy, probably on a massive scale, maybe even planetary. And yeah, that idea fundamentally clashes with, well, pretty much everything accepted in Egyptology and ancient history.
Wow. A planet-wide energy grid. Powered by pyramids as crystalline generators. It just flips the whole script. But, okay, if the pyramid structure was the energy device, what about underneath it? Is that just foundation, or is there more going on? This is where it gets even deeper, pardon the pun. Lacerta asserts that directly beneath the Great Pyramid lies one of these ancient underground installations, a vast, complex network of tunnels and chambers. And these weren't just like basements or supports, they were integral parts of the system, actually housing the advanced technology from that same third civilization. Lacerta also notes that many of these key chambers were deliberately sealed off when that civilization eventually collapsed. Abandoned. Okay, so now we're talking about a secret high-tech facility buried deep underground, dating back maybe 75,000 years.
Yeah.
Have any of these underground areas ever been found, by us I mean, or is this all still completely hidden?
According to Lacerta, certain human governments and their let's say, secret military factions have actually discovered parts of these underground areas. But, and this is crucial, Lacerta claims they comprehend little of what they've actually found.
Comprehend little.
Yeah, imagine finding, I don't know, a futuristic supercomputer and trying to figure it out with just like basic 21st century tools. Our scientific framework, our tech, it's just not equipped to grasp what these things really are. They're likely looking at incredibly sophisticated tech through a very, well, primitive lens.
That's a staggering thought.
It
It suggests there's this hidden history, incredible technology, not just hidden from us, the public, but maybe actively suppressed by those who have found bits of it, maybe because they just don't understand it, can't control it.
It really highlights a critical dynamic Lacerta keeps mentioning. Their species, on the other hand, claims to have detailed knowledge. They say they observed the original construction and then explored these places extensively after the humans abandoned them. So they have a full picture, supposedly. And even more intriguingly, some of these tunnels apparently connect to deeper natural cavern systems, systems that lead towards territories occupied by Lacerta's own species.
Ah, okay. So that explains how they'd know what's going on down there, or maybe what's not going on.
Right. It gives them this continuous long-term awareness of human activity or the lack of it in those specific ancient areas.
So they're like ancient observing neighbors, watching our governments fumble around with what's essentially alien tech. But why keep it secret? If parts have been found, why is this knowledge kept from everyone? Who benefits?
That's the really big question, isn't it? About information control. Lacerta states the knowledge of what's really down there is actively withheld, not just by human governments and secret groups, but also, crucially, by what Lacerta calls non-human influences.
Other non-human groups.
Apparently. These entities, according to the narrative, actively do not want humans rediscovering their true technological heritage or the real context of their history. It points to this deliberate, multi-layered control over information, keeping humanity from accessing its full potential or understanding its true origins.
Okay, this idea of hidden tech, suppressed history. It's a thread we need to keep pulling on. Lacerta mentioned their species explored these chambers after that third civilization fell. What exactly did they find? What kind of things would be so paradigm-shattering for our archaeologists today?
Right. When Lacerta's species went into these abandoned chambers, they apparently found artifacts, installations, things that would just fundamentally challenge almost everything we think we know about our past, our technological capabilities. Imagine walking into a museum that basically rewrites all your history books in one room.
That's a powerful image. Okay, specifics. Give us some specifics. What kind of items? What tech did this ancient civilization supposedly have?
Okay, well, here are a few examples that really underline how advanced this civilization might have been, according to Lacerta. They found rooms filled with these intricate crystalline devices described as power cells, and they were meticulously arranged in precise geometric patterns, not just decorative, but functional, capable of drawing energy directly from Earth's magnetic field and also from what we might theorize as zero-point energy.
Zero-point energy, the background energy of space itself.
Basically, yes.
Yeah.
Tapping into the vacuum energy. And remarkably, Lacerta claims some of these crystals still held a significant energy charge, even after tens of thousands of years.
Whoa.
Yeah, that speaks to a power source, a storage capability that's just way beyond anything we currently grasp.
Crystalline power cells lasting millennia, tapping into the fabric of space-time. Okay, mind officially bent. What else?
They also found extensive documentation chambers, but forget papyrus or scrolls. These held records meticulously inscribed onto incredibly durable metallic plates, using an advanced symbolic language totally different from hieroglyphics that detailed the workings of this energy system, its global connections.
Like a user manual for a planet-wide power grid.
Exactly, recorded in a language that supposedly conveys complex concepts instantly through symbols, not linear text.
And it sounds like there were even more, maybe unsettling discoveries about human origins.
Precisely. Perhaps among the most significant finds were biological laboratories. These were facilities where the Illojim, this ancient non-human group Lacerta talks about, and their human servants conducted extensive genetic experiments.
Genetic experiments.
Yes. Lacerta described finding preserved specimens showing clear, deliberate genetic alterations, modifications made between what we might call primitive humans and various engineered versions. This discovery, if true, directly challenges our standard evolutionary timelines. It suggests a very active external hand in humanity's development.
The Illojim, the architects of humanity, according to Lacerta.
That's the narrative, yes. the primary force behind human genetic and societal development in these early cycles.
So genetic engineering on a massive scale, literally shaping human evolution. And then there's the transportation aspect you mentioned. That sounds like it defies physics.
Indeed. Maybe the most impressive thing from Lacerta's account were remnants of advanced transportation devices, not vehicles as we know them. These allowed for instantaneous movement between similar installations across the entire planet.
Instantaneous. Teleportation.
Essentially, not conventional propulsion. It supposedly leveraged principles like quantum entanglement, gravitational manipulation, concepts that are still largely theoretical for us, way beyond current human understanding. Quantum entanglement in this context, meaning an immediate link between 2 points, instant transfer without crossing physical space. It implies this globally connected society that could move people, resources instantly across vast distances.
So these are the kinds of paradigm-shattering things Lacerta claims our governments have now rediscovered and are trying to reverse engineer.
That's the consistent claim, that current authorities have rediscovered some of these chambers. They've systematically removed artifacts to secret locations, hidden the knowledge, but their understanding remains primitive.
Like kids with alien technology.
Pretty much. Trying to reverse engineer principles they just don't grasp, leading to partial, maybe even dangerous results. Lacerta's species, meanwhile, apparently took great care not to leave traces of their own explorations. They view these sites as key to understanding this whole pattern, this rise and fall of human civilizations engineered by the Illojim. This recurring theme discovery, suppression, misunderstanding seems central.
Okay, speaking of recent discoveries and suppression, Lacerta actually commented on a specific modern news report about Giza, didn't they? This Malong Biondi thing.
Yes, that's right. Lacerta directly addressed a news report about Dr. Corrado Malanga and Dr. Filippo Biondi. These researchers claim they used a unique synthetic aperture radar SAR method to find and map enormous structures deep under the Khafre pyramid. They dated them at around 38,000 years old. They reported finding shafts, spiral pathways, cube-shaped structures, hypothesizing a secret city or a power station. It made some waves, though controversially.
Sounds exactly like the kind of discovery that would either be huge news or get shut down fast. What was Lacerta's take on it?
Lacerta found it predictable, a sort of wry observation that truth pops up, then gets dismissed or buried. Lacerta confirmed the researchers indeed detected something real, but the dating was wrong.
Wrong how?
The structures are closer to 75,000 years old, according to Lacerta, part of that third civilization, not 38,000 years old, which significantly aligns perfectly with Lacerta's much older timeline for Giza.
Okay, so the discovery was real, but the dating was off by tens of thousands of years. What did Lacerta say those specific structures actually were? The shafts, spirals, cubes?
Lacerta clarified their function within that larger energy system concept, the shafts. Part of the energy collection and distribution network, the spiral pathways, conduits designed to amplify and direct energy flows using physics we don't recognize. And the cube structures, stabilization chambers for the main crystalline apparatus, the heart of the energy device.
So it all fits back into Giza as this ancient, complex energy hub.
Precisely.
And how did institutions like National Geographic react? What was Lacerta's view on that?
Well, Lister found it, well, amusing but telling. How established groups like Nat Geo rushed to dismiss these findings as pseudoscience, while offering no real explanation for the actual anomalies detected. This, Lacerta stated, is the standard protocol of your information controllers. Lacerta explained that the SAR method these researchers used was innovative precisely because it accidentally bypassed the usual frequency filters. By removing algorithms that are normally designed to eliminate anomalous readings, things that don't fit the standard model, they actually saw something real, something our conventional filtered science is set up to ignore.
That's a powerful statement about information control, that our own scientific methods might be filtered to keep us from seeing contradictions.
It really is. Lacerta added that the researchers' mistake was assuming these were just a city or a simplistic power station. They were actually components of a highly sophisticated planet-wide energy grid. Lacerta even said the AI reconstructions they made, while crude, were surprisingly close. This whole incident, from Lacerta's perspective, really highlights how hard it is for contradictory evidence to break through, and how easily powerful groups can dismiss or control information. It really makes you question every official dismissal of anomalies, doesn't it? Makes you wonder what else is being filtered out.
Okay, so if this SAR tech, or maybe even more advanced methods, can bypass these filters and reveal hidden structures, and Giza is just the start, then the huge question is, where else? Where else on Earth should we be looking? Lacerta hints this could accelerate your species' awakening.
Lacerta was actually quite specific about other locations, though always with that warning, authorities will intervene. The picture painted isn't of isolated weird spots, but this vast, interconnected planetary system.
Let's start back at Giza then. Beyond the pyramids themselves, where the Malanga Biondi stuff was focused, what else is on that plateau?
Lacerta suggests extending the standing outwards, in a specific geometric pattern across the whole Giza Plateau. The claim is that extensive tunnels run southeast from the Great Pyramid, heading towards the Sphinx. And the Sphinx itself apparently sits above an even older chamber complex.
Wow. So Giza isn't just a few monuments. It's one massive integrated installation above and below ground.
That's the implication, all part of a larger purpose.
Okay, let's move continents.
Yeah.
Turkey, Göbekli Tepe. What does Lacerta say is there?
Göbekli Tepe is already mind-bendingly old by conventional standards, right?
Right. Pushes back complex building by thousands of years.
Well, Lacerta states that what we've excavated is just the surface. That a truly vast technological installation from the second civilization cycle lies at least 200 meters below the current dig level.
200 meters deeper.
Yeah.
Containing tech from an even earlier civilization.
Yes. A potential treasure trove about a different phase of human civilization. What we see now might just be the tip of a much older, much more complex iceberg.
Astounding. Okay, South America. The Nazca lines. Those giant drawings in the desert. What's the story there, according to Lacerta?
For Nazca, the claim is that about 1.5 kilometers beneath the surface lines, there's one of the largest underground complexes on the entire planet.
1.5 kilometers deep, yeah.
An immense installation, supposedly housing significant technology, much of it still partially intact. So the lines on the surface, maybe not just art or astronomy, maybe they're markers or a symbolic map for this massive facility buried deep below.
A subterranean city or base under Nazca? Okay, what about under the oceans, our last real frontier?
Absolutely. Lacerta points to significant structures on the seafloor off western Cuba, near the Guanahatabibs Peninsula. Not natural formations, geometric arrangements of buildings from the fourth civilization cycle, now covered by sediment pretty deep down.
Fourth cycle, so later than Giza's main phase.
According to the timeline, Lacerta presents, yes, requires specialized underwater scanning, but could reveal a whole later phase of human history lost beneath the waves.
But the most significant discovery, Lacerta says, isn't there. It's Antarctica. What makes Antarctica the crown jewel?
Yes, Antarctica gets special emphasis, specifically a region in Queen Maud Land. There, beneath roughly 1.8 kilometers of solid ice, lies one of the primary control centers of the third civilization.
Under almost 2 kilometers of ice.
And Lacerta states it's substantially intact due to the preservative effects of the cold. Not just ruins, but maybe a fully preserved time capsule of staggering proportions.
A whole ancient, high-tech city preserved under the ice. Sounds like pure fiction. But Lacerta mentioned a pattern in human exploration and this planetary grid system. What does that mean for all these different sites?
Yeah, this is a really key insight. Lacerta critiques how humans tend to explore in isolation, focusing on one site without seeing the connections. The claim is these sites were all nodes, part of an ancient global planetary grid system. Lacerta explains that energy conduits running between these major installations would often show up as tunnel systems, maybe 70 to 100 meters below the surface.
So the real discovery isn't just the sites themselves,
but mapping the entire network, this vast interconnected infrastructure that once circled the globe. That's the real prize, Lacerta implies.
that just changes the whole scale. It's not isolated finds. It's one global system. Okay, please keep going. More hidden locations. What else is on the list?
Certainly. The list is quite remarkable. Consider the Richat structure in Mauritania, the Eye of the Sahara.
Often thought to be a natural formation, right?
Yeah.
An impact crater or something.
Lacerta says unequivocally, not natural. Deep scanning would reveal concentric underground chambers, extending down to 3 kilometers.
3 kilometers deep. What was down there?
Housing biological laboratories, apparently, for third civilization genetic experimentation directly overseen by the Illojim.
Biolabs, 3 kilometers under the Sahara.
Okay.
Other underwater sites. Besides Cuba?
Pacific Ocean, the Yonaguni Monument near Japan, those underwater structures we can see, just the very top portion. Lacerta claims scans going 500 meters into the seafloor would reveal an extensive installation, a major communications hub for the Pacific during the fourth civilization cycle.
Wow. And India, near Dwarka.
Yes, an inland region about 30 kilometers from the current coast near Dwarka. Lacerta describes a vast underground complex there. This one supposedly contains unusually high concentrations of mercury chambers, indicating it was a center for developing propulsion technology.
Their mercury chambers. For ancient propulsion tech, that challenges everything about ancient engineering.
Yeah.
Europe, anything there.
The Carpathian Mountains in Romania. Lacerta states there are at least 3 major underground installations there, partially discovered but systematically hidden by human authorities, and these connect to natural cave systems extending into Lacerta's own territories.
Ah, another connection point.
Yeah.
South America again, Lake Titicaca.
Lake Titicaca itself, yes. Structures beneath its floor connect to another vast underground complex. This one noted for containing unusual metallic alloys that haven't corroded after thousands of years, implying incredible metallurgy.
Amazing. Are there any sites even older? Back to the first civilization Lacerta mentioned.
Yes. Western Australia, the Pilbara region specifically, home to one of the oldest installations, dating back to the first advanced civilization, roughly 113,000 years ago.
Whoa.
Deep scanning there, Lacerta suggests, would show geometric, non-natural structures at incredible depths, 4 to 5 kilometers down, foundational tech from humanity's earliest engineered phase.
4 to 5 kilometers. Just staggering. Any other really remote or extreme places?
Indeed. The North Pole region. Beneath the Arctic ice cap. Evidence of artificial structures there, too. These are significant because, according to Lacerta, they were built aligned with Earth's magnetic field during a previous configuration. Direct evidence of ancient pole shifts.
Pole shift evidence built into ancient structures.
And central Siberia. Those things some militaries call cauldrons, large metallic structures partially buried. Lacerta identifies them as remnants of defensive installations from the war that ended the Third Civilization.
It's almost overwhelming, the scale, the connections. But is there a catch for researchers trying to find these?
A very clear, explicit warning from Lacerta, many of these places, under active surveillance by human military, private groups, and non-human entities.
So expect interference.
Absolutely. Equipment failures, weird bureaucratic blockades, funding suddenly cut, professional reputations attacked. Lacerta states flatly, not coincidental. The bigger picture here is that these places were nodes on this planetary grid of power and information transfer. The true discovery lies in mapping those connections. But that very connectivity is what those in control, human and otherwise supposedly, want to keep hidden.
Okay, so we have all these incredible hidden sites and all this potential interference, but let's talk about the how. Lacerta mentioned researchers are limited by approved technologies. What kind of next-level scanning tech might actually find these things? Tech beyond our usual science.
Lacerta is pretty clear that our standard approved tech is often the problem, sometimes calibrated specifically to miss anomalies. They suggest several much more effective methods, technologies that might exist just beyond our mainstream understanding or maybe are already held by clandestine groups.
Like what? What's top of the list for finding things buried miles deep or under oceans?
First, Lacerta recommends something called quantum resonance detectors, not just better ground-penetrating radar. These are sophisticated modifications calibrated to detect variations in subatomic particle behavior. Specifically, quantum tunneling anomalies.
Quantum tumbling.
Yeah, it allows for much greater depth penetration. Think of it less like bouncing a signal off something solid, and more like listening for the unique quantum signature that artificial ancient structures would emit, even through miles of rock or ice.
That sounds like a huge leap beyond normal radar. What else? Other advanced detection methods.
Gravitometric scanning is another key one. Lacerta calls it far more revealing, and claims advanced versions are already held by military organizations. This tech detects tiny variations in local gravity fields.
How did that help find structures?
These variations, measured precisely, can reveal hollow spaces, super dense artificial structures, even non-terrestrial materials buried deep down. Lacerta advises researchers to look for gravitational oscillations at specific mathematical intervals. That's supposedly a key sign of artificial structures, not just natural geology.
Okay, so if militaries already have this, they potentially have a much clearer picture of what's down there than we do. What about using cosmic rays, muon tomography?
Modified muon tomography is also cited. It detects specific particle interactions when cosmic rays pass through artificial crystalline structures. But Lacerta adds a critical detail. Current public versions of this tech are deliberately calibrated to overlook certain frequency patterns.
Deliberately calibrated to miss things, implying suppression even in the design of our tools.
That's the very pointed claim, yes. An intentional limitation in mainstream instruments preventing them from seeing specific types of anomalies.
Wow. Okay, what about using sound? Can we detect these places with sound waves?
Yes, advanced infrasound detection arrays. Lacerta explains ancient structures often resonate at specific, very low frequencies, usually 7 to 12 hertz. Using triangulated arrays of detectors and specific carrier waves, researchers could map hidden chambers and tunnels by their unique resonance signatures. Potentially more accessible, but still complex.
Any other physical detection methods? For those ancient energy systems, maybe?
Another involves electrical conductivity variances. The idea is that operating those ancient energy systems permanently altered the electrical conductivity of the surrounding rock or materials. These changes can be detected with modified magnetotelluric survey gear using extremely low frequencies like 0.1 to 0.8 hertz, finding the energetic ghosts left behind.
But what's really intriguing is Lacerta mentioning the most powerful instrument. Doesn't sound like a machine.
Indeed. Lacerta makes a striking claim. Consciousness itself is a detection instrument far more powerful than any tech device, what we call remote viewing. Lacerta suggests it's an underdeveloped use of consciousness as a non-local sensor, and apparently it's been used with surprising accuracy by some shadowy military programs.
So the best tech is us.
Lacerta argues the most efficient approach would be highly trained human consciousness, working with and verified by these advanced technological instruments, a synergy.
A profound thought. Our own inner capabilities is the ultimate tool. But for researchers trying any of these methods, tech or consciousness, is it easy?
Definitely not. Lacerta issues that stark warning again. Researchers seriously pursuing these advanced methods often find funding gone, reputations trashed, access denied. Lacerta states pointedly these obstacles are not coincidental, reinforcing that narrative of systemic, deliberate suppression.
So even if you detect something, getting physical access, especially under somewhere like the pyramids, must be incredibly hard. What are the ways in, according to Lacerta?
Gaining access involves battling not just technical hurdles, but active prevention by human authorities, maybe even non-human entities. Lacerta outlines 3 main types of access points.
What's the first type? The obvious original doors.
Exactly. Type 1. Original construction entrances. Lacerta points to one on the north face of Khafre's pyramid, about 17 meters down, currently sealed. Another near the Sphinx's eastern base, hidden under a modern restoration panel. And a third, less obvious one, an unremarkable limestone outcropping about 340 meters southwest of the Great Pyramid. The original ways in, now deliberately hidden.
Okay, original entrance is obscured. What's the second type? Internal pathways, maybe?
Second type. Maintenance shafts. Lacerta claims within the Great Pyramid's Queen's Chamber and King's Chamber, shafts go much deeper than officially recognized. These internal routes have been meticulously blocked or disguised over millennia, virtually invisible to an untrained eye.
And modern access. Has anyone actually broken through recently?
The third type. Modern access tunnels. Lacerta claims these were created by military and intelligence groups, classified ops in the 70s and 90s. One tunnel supposedly starts from a secure facility disguised as a maintenance building, about 400 meters east of the Great Pyramid. Another was apparently made through a modified, discreet tourist access point.
Implying an ongoing hidden presence by our own governments down there, actively exploring.
That's the clear implication, yes.
So for an independent researcher, with all this secrecy, getting in seems almost impossible without powerful help. What advice does Lacerta offer?
Very specific guidance, but with a heavy dose of realism. First, try for formal archaeological permits, though immediately adds nearly impossible without powerful backing. Second, use advanced GPR to pinpoint locations, then seek limited digging rights under conventional archaeology excuses. Third, try acoustic resonance techniques at specific points on existing structures. Suggest 23-28 kilohertz frequencies for sonic activation, maybe opening sealed chambers.
Sonic activation, like a key frequency.
Apparently. And fourth, crucially, form alliances. With sympathetic people inside the scientific establishment who secretly doubt the official story, build an internal support network.
Sounds like a strategic, almost covert operation needed. What happens if a team does make real progress?
The outcome, Lacerta predicts, is consistent interference. The tech, the historical records down there, they would fundamentally alter your understanding of human history and capabilities. That kind of revelation dismantles power structures, official narratives. So Lacerta suggests the most successful approach needs a multidisciplinary team operating with limited public disclosure.
Keep it quiet initially.
Yes. Keep findings under wraps until you have enough evidence widely and irrevocably distributed. Get it out so broadly it reaches a critical mass in public awareness, making it impossible to fully suppress.
We've covered Giza, other global sites. But Lacerta, kept highlighting Antarctica, holding the most significant, best-preserved remains of that third civilization. Why Antarctica? What's so special? What secrets are under all that ice?
Antarctica's significance in Lacerta's view comes down to preservation. It's this unparalleled frozen time capsule, protected by immense ice sheets, extreme cold, deterring exploration for millennia, safeguarding what's there far better than sites exposed to geology or human interference, makes it uniquely valuable.
And where exactly in that huge continent should we look?
Lacerta specifies Queen Maud Land, near the modern Conan Station and the Mühlig-Hoffmann Mountains. There, about 2.3 kilometers under the current ice, was a primary administrative and technological hub of the third civilization. And this complex apparently stayed operational longer than most others during the collapse, implying a critical function.
Okay, 2.3 kilometers of ice. If someone could drill through that, what would they find? What structures, what artifacts?
The expected findings are just astonishing, if the ice could be breached. First, a massive geometric complex spanning maybe 30 square kilometers.
30 square kilometers. A city-sized complex.
Built from a unique crystalline metallic alloy, arranged in precise mathematical celestial patterns. Incredible planning, engineering.
What about power? Would any of that ancient tech still work?
Intriguingly, yes. Lacerta claims unusually intact power generation systems would be found. Unlike other sites, some Antarctic installations supposedly retain original energy crystals, and they might remain partially functional.
Partially functional after 75,000 years.
Which could explain some electromagnetic anomalies occasionally detected in that region by modern instruments.
And Lacerta mentioned biological preservation chambers. What's inside those? How would they survive?
Yes, described as sophisticated ark repositories, containing exceptionally preserved flora, fauna, even humanoid forms. Created, Lacerta suggests, as a desperate measure when the civilization saw collapse coming, an attempt to save a living record. The extreme cold plus advanced preservation tech would have kept them in an unparalleled state.
A living biological archive under the ice. What about their knowledge? Libraries? History?
Absolutely. Extensive data storage repositories. Not books, but these crystalline data matrices, said to contain the most complete record of their society, their science, and critically, the true history of Illojim intervention and human manipulation.
The full story of the Illojim's involvement.
Their ultimate backup systems, designed to survive global catastrophes, serve as an indelible record.
Just waiting under the ice.
Exactly. And beyond that, the complex would show clear evidence of advanced climate engineering tech. Lacerta explains Antarctica during the third civilization was artificially kept temperate, a green, thriving center, not a frozen wasteland, showcasing abilities way beyond our climate control ideas.
Mind-blowing. A complete rewrite of ancient climate and history. Lacerta even gave specific coordinates for core sampling. What would samples show? Say, at 71 degrees 57 S, 11 degrees 3 E.
At that first coordinate, roughly 1,700 to 2,300 meters deep, core samples, according to Lacerta, would show nanoparticulate metals, an aluminum-palladium alloy, not natural. Also microscopic crystalline structures, incredibly ordered lattices, remnants of atmospheric tech. Even deeper, a translucent silica-based engineered material from an external dome, showing circuit-like patterns emitting temperature-dependent energy in the low terahertz range. Clear signs of active components.
Active components after 75,000 years under ice. That suggests incredible material science. What about the second coordinate? 70 degrees 32 S, 14 degrees 47 E.
There, between 1,400 and 1,800 meters deep, samples would pass through a cylindrical shaft of artificially cleared ice. Inside, fragments of metallic crystalline alloy with perfect isotopic ratios suggesting precise atomic engineering. Also trace biological materials, genetically modified cells from the third civilization's admin class.
Direct evidence of the modified humans.
And most significantly, crystalline data matrices. Small, 2-3 centimeter diameter, still emitting complex energy patterns, indicating atomic-level information storage, though undecodable by our tech currently.
Tangible proof of genetically modified humans and their data systems. What would the geology around these finds show?
The geological context, Lacerta states, would conclusively prove the region was not ice-covered, that it had a temperate climate when these structures were built. That evidence alone completely overturns our understanding of Antarctica's ancient history and climate.
Truly paradigm-shattering. But given the obstacles, what are the specific challenges to accessing this most significant site?
The obstacles are immense, multi-layered. Beyond the extreme conditions, the logistics, there's the Antarctic Treaty restricting access. But more importantly, Lacerta warns of significant deliberate interference from human governments and non-human entities.
Same pattern as elsewhere.
Yes. Equipment failures, sudden severe weather, funding canceled, research redirected. Lacerta explicitly says, not coincidental. An active effort to keep these secrets buried.
Let's dig into this Antarctic society itself. What was life like in this main control center? What kind of beings lived there?
It paints a picture of a totally different Antarctica. Temperate, vibrant, a key administrative scientific district. Social structure was rigidly hierarchical, based purely on function, utility, not like our nations or ethnicities.
And who lived there? Were they like us biologically?
These Antarctic centers housed about 370,000 individuals, Lacerta details, humans who'd undergone the highest degree of Illojim genetic modification. Physically distinct, much taller, larger cranial capacity, six-fingered hands, lifespans of 300, 400 years.
Wow, 6 fingers, 400-year lifespans.
Lacerta suggests these are the distant memory behind myths of gods or the tall ones. Their status came solely from their utility to the collective and, more importantly, to the Illojim agenda.
Sounds less like a society, more like a highly engineered workforce. What were the core functions of this huge Antarctic complex? What was its purpose?
Lacerta lists 5 main functions, highlights its central role. 1. Major data repository. All knowledge, science, the true history of human genetic engineering. 2. Primary communication hub, using consciousness-based telepathy among the admin class, amplified by the complex's geometry. 3. Control center for global climate engineering, monitoring atmosphere, oceans, tectonic stability planet-wide.
Planet-wide climate control.
4. Advanced biological labs. Continued genetic engineering, developing specialized human variants, the races of gods, demigods, and myths. And 5. Astronomical observation and communication systems. Direct links with the Illojim themselves.
Essentially, the global HQ for the Illojim's human project. What about daily life? The architecture.
Daily life was supposedly seamlessly integrated. Work, leisure, spiritual practice, all at a higher level of consciousness. They used direct mind-tech interfaces, thought-controlling technology. The architecture reflected this. Geometric precision to amplify natural energy fields. Construction materials responsive to consciousness. The environment itself was interactive, alive.
Sounds almost utopian, but I feel a but coming.
A very important but, Lacerta clarifies, not a utopia in our sense. It was built entirely on the Illojim agenda. Humanity as a resource. Stratification was rigid, genetically enforced. And this region, despite its advancement, was a primary target during the war with the Illojim because of its strategic importance. Lacerta repeats, the remnants under the ice would transform your understanding of human capability in history, unquote. Which is precisely why access remains so restricted, in their view, a powerful narrative about controlling the past.
Okay, Antarctica, these crystalline data matrices. The ultimate historical archive. But how would a modern human even read something like that? It's not like plugging in a hard drive.
That's a really crucial point. Lacerta is clear. These matrices were designed for direct consciousness interface, a kind of technologically enhanced telepathy. It's a way of getting information that's totally removed from our linear external data processing. Needs a different kind of key.
Technologically enhanced telepathy, because that's deep into sci-fi territory for most of us. How would a modern human, without those ancient adaptations, even start to interface?
Lacerta outlines 3 approaches, from more technical to more consciousness-based. First involves coherent light frequencies. Specific patterns of light in the 380-495 nanometer range directed at the crystals make them emit light patterns encoding visual info.
So light activates them.
Yes, but you'd need advanced gear to generate the light, and then interpreting the complex symbolic language in the emitted light, that's still a massive challenge. Needs a new way of thinking.
Okay, light interaction, still hard to interpret. What's next?
Second, uses electromagnetic stimulation. Precisely modulated EM fields, very low frequency, 713 hertz, similar to human alpha brainwaves, interestingly. These can interface directly with neural activity. But Lacerta notes, modern humans mostly lack the specific neural adaptations the third civilization had.
Right.
We'd get overloaded, get fragmented results.
Implying a fundamental genetic difference in how we process information. So what's the most direct, most effective way?
The third and most effective method, direct consciousness interaction. Through meditative entrainment, the matrices respond directly to focused consciousness in altered states. Lacerta suggests certain individuals today, maybe psychics, sensitives, might establish partial connections. They could receive info as vivid mental images, direct knowledge downloads, intuitive insights, not a linear data stream.
That really pushes into the esoteric. Suggests a capacity within us that's largely forgotten. What are the main challenges for us trying this?
Huge hurdles. One is just neurological overwhelm. The sheer density and speed of information would flood, maybe even damage unmodified neural systems, cause physical, psychological distress. Then there are conceptual barriers. The info is in frameworks totally alien to our current understanding. And linguistic incompatibility. The symbolic language uses multidimensional association, not our linear syntax. Our brains struggle to process it coherently.
This sounds like it explains those black budgets Lacerta mentioned earlier.
It does. Lacerta specifically says military and scientific groups, having found smaller crystal devices, have tried these interface methods, leading to fragmented, misinterpreted, often dangerous results. And this, Lacerta says, is exactly why there's been long-term black budget research into things like remote viewing and consciousness disciplines. They're seen as necessary for even basic interaction with this tech.
So what's the big picture here? Lacerta's painted this history of not one, but three distinct human civilizations before ours, each unique, but with this recurring pattern of external influence.
It really presents this profound narrative of cycles, doesn't it? Creation, advancement, exploitation, then destruction by the Illojim when humans get out of control. And Lacerta explicitly states our current civilization is rapidly approaching a similar threshold point, a stark warning.
Let's break down the third civilization first.
Yeah.
The Giza builders. What characterized them?
Third civilization, around 75,000 years ago, peaked for about 3,000 years, say 78,000, 75,000 years ago. Their impressive tech, not self-developed, Lacerta claims, directly Illojim guided. The Illojim gave specific knowledge, tech principles to these genetically modified humans for strategic resource development. Basically, use them as tools.
A directed project. Did they have things like space travel?
Limited access, yes. Orbital facilities, small bases on Moon and Mars. But the Illojim strictly forbade independent interstellar travel, withheld key principles for FTL or warp tech. Lacerta suggests the conflict started when these humans tried to gain independence, tried to develop those forbidden technologies.
And how did such an advanced civilization with off-world bases fall?
Catastrophically. A brutal war between human factions seeking freedom and their Illojim creators, using advanced weapons that triggered massive geological changes, induced pole shifts, tectonic upheaval, climate destabilization, things our science often sees as just natural events.
Not natural disasters, but caused by war. What happened to the survivors?
Several outcomes. Lacerta details. Some retreated deep underground, seeding the fourth civilization later. Others relocated globally, tried to rebuild on the surface. And a small, highly genetically advanced group were harvested by the Illojim. Taken to other worlds, their genetic lines preserved elsewhere.
Any records left? Who controls them now?
Yes. Lacerta claims many records exist, but highly controlled. Human governments, US, Russia, China, have fragments. Private secret societies, too. Illojim descendants, Lacerta's own species. But the most complete records are those crystalline matrices, largely inaccessible to our tech. The whole story underscores that recurring pattern: creation, advancement, exploitation, destruction. And Lacerta warns our civilization is nearing a similar point now. Chilling.
Truly chilling, especially thinking about our current tech trajectory. Okay, let's go back further. The second civilization, what made it different?
Second civilization, roughly 170,000 to 115,000 years ago, followed a different path. More organic development, less direct Illojim intervention. Humanity was mostly observed then, not actively managed or engineered as much.
What kind of tech did they develop without that direct guidance? How did it differ from the third?
Sophisticated, but very different from the third's material focus. They mastered advanced acoustic physics. Shaping, moving massive stones with sound explains some megalithic sites like Göbekli Tepe that baffle us. Developed sophisticated biological tech. Engineered plant machines for processing materials, even storing info, energy from Earth's natural EM gravity fields, harmonic resonance, no combustion, no nuclear, and remarkably profound consciousness technologies, affecting matter, energy through focused mental intention.
Sounds incredibly advanced, but also deeply harmonious with nature. A stark contrast to the third. Did they have space travel?
No artificial space transport like we think of it, but they had advanced consciousness-based celestial observation and long-distance communication using paired crystals and trained consciousness, leveraging quantum entanglement principles.
So how did this more sustainable, harmonious civilization end, if not by self-destruction?
An engineered collapse, Lacerta claims, orchestrated by the Illojim. When this civilization started developing tech, especially consciousness manipulation, gravitic field theory that could challenge Illojim control, the experiment was terminated.
Wow.
Though the civilization fell, fragmented knowledge of their unique tech survived, preserved in what we now call shamanic traditions, indigenous wisdom.
Even further back. The very beginning. The first civilization. What was its nature?
First civilization, about 220,000 to 210,000 years ago, the earliest known Illojim experiment in human genetic modification. Their technology was almost purely intuitive. A direct relationship with natural energetic systems, consciousness technology, influencing weather, plant growth, animal behavior through focused intention. Minimal material tech, but deep understanding of resonance.
A very different kind of tech. And their language.
Not spoken or linear, geometric symbols conveying multidimensional concepts. Information fields perceived directly by consciousness. Fragments survive, Lacerta suggests, in sacred geometry, indigenous symbols.
What were the key differences between this first civilization and the second?
Several critical ones, genetically. First, Civ had larger cranial capacity, enhanced pineal function, natural psychic abilities later reduced. Socially, collective consciousness, no formal rulers, which the Illojim saw as inefficient. Illojim relationship. Minimal direct interaction. Illojim observed baseline capabilities, geographically. Primarily Southern Africa, parts of India. Deep integration with nature. The first was pure consciousness tech. The second started externalizing some of that into material, though still organic forms. It really highlights the contrast. The first might represent humanity's natural path of consciousness evolution. The Illojim then redirected development towards material tech, hierarchical structures, made humans easier to control, direct for resource extraction.
A stark reinterpretation. Deliberately redirecting our evolution. Any evidence of this first civilization still around today in 2025?
Yes, Lacerta claims, though subtle, misidentified. Geological anomalies. Circular stone arrangements in South Africa, consciousness amplification grids, Lacerta says. Lubombo Mountains, cave markings, mineral compounds forming geometric patterns. Mpumalanga stone arrangements, mathematical relationships, molecularly altered stone. Critically, certain genetic markers in indigenous southern African populations preserving remnants of this consciousness tech. Also, submarine archaeology off India, specific geometric rock art in Australia, modified crystals in museums misidentified as ceremonial objects, evidence hidden in plain sight, needing a different lens.
So, human civilization cycle, often influenced, prone to destruction. What about Lacerta's own history? You said it's millions of years old, continuous, a contrast to us.
A crucial distinction, yes. Lacerta's species claims a presence of about 65 million years, continuous, evolving from KT extinction survivors. Their history is gradual evolution, not catastrophic cycles like humanity's, allowed a different kind of progress.
How did they develop over that immense time? Major phases.
Lacerta describes 4 major phases. First, 6055 Maya, emergence as sentient surface dwellings, Africa, S. America, Asia. Second, 5030 Maya, moved subterranean, natural caves, then engineered complexes, communal structure, tech for underground life. Third, 2910 Maya, technological acceleration, field manipulation technologies, established primary underground city complexes still used today. Fourth, 10 Maya present, mature civilization, focus now on consciousness advancement, planetary balance, not continuous tech expansion.
A profoundly different path. Internal development. Where are their main underground centers now?
Vast, strategically located complexes under South America, Brazil, Peru, Bolivia, Central Africa, Rwanda, Tanzania, Congo, Asia, Tibet, parts of China, Nepal, southwestern U.S., northern Mexico, and ancient settlements under Antarctica predating humans there.
How have they interacted with human civilizations over this long history?
Largely observation, careful withdrawal, limited contact with the first civilization. Retreated further underground as Illojim modified humans to be more aggressive, tech-focused. Since then, they observe human cycles from below, consistently withdrawing, maintaining secrecy when a new human cycle emerges on the surface.
So we wouldn't see obvious surface signs of them now, given that long retreat.
Exactly. Any evidence of their earlier surface presence is subtle, obscured by time, geology, or misattributed. They didn't build overt monuments like humans do, harder to recognize their footprint.
Can you give specific examples of this hidden or misattributed evidence?
Certainly. Lacerta points to modified caves in Andean Peru, Bolivia, mathematical proportions smoothing beyond primitive tools. Natural underground chambers in Africa's Great Rift Valley, Kenya lava tubes, showing millions-year-old modifications, for example, precise ventilation shafts. Petroglyphs in southwestern U.S., Arizona, Utah, with distinct geometric serpentine forms territorial markers, Lacerta says. Underwater formations off eastern Japan, Yonaguni, with precise angular cuts predating known human activity there. and surface structures in Antarctica from temperate periods, 20 Maya bearing their mark.
So if we were looking for clues, what characteristics stand out?
Key clues. Stoneworking precision defying primitive tools, perfectly flat surfaces on hard stone right angles, evidence of thermal cutting in tunnels, vitrified surfaces, and misclassified hominid-like fossils in deep strata may be their early ancestors. Lacerta notes they deliberately obscured much of their surface history, intentionally hard to find.
It seems the oceans hold even more secrets, known to some but not shared. What secrets are under the oceans in 2025, according to Lacerta?
The strategic value of underwater finds is huge, which is why, Lacerta claims, the push for deep-sea tech is often a cover. Resource exploration frequently fronts for investigating, exploiting these ancient and non-human sites. The oceans remain the least monitored, most opaque frontier, preserving a history that would challenge everything.
A powerful statement about the real drivers of deep-sea exploration. Let's break down the secrets. Remnants of human civilizations first.
First, Lacerta describes extensive geometric structural complexes off western Cuba, Guanahacobe's peninsula, from the third civilization, 600, 750 meters deep. Clearly not natural. Tech artifacts retrieved, now classified. Also deeper extensions of Yonaguni, 80 meters deep, showing advanced stone cutting. And extensive ruins in the Mediterranean, 1,200 and 1,500 meters deep, from the second civilization, protected by depth, all classified or mischaracterized.
Entire underwater cities from past human cycles, hidden from us. What about active non-human stuff, or ancient non-human tech?
Second, confirmed artificial structures on the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, 2,000, 3,000 meter deep, from non-human intelligences. Some still active, unexplained energy emissions detected by navies. Mariana Trench, Challenger Deep, also has artificial structures non-human monitoring stations classified by expeditions. Plus, tech structures mapped on the Arctic Ocean floor by Russian drones, predating humans, causing international tension.
Active non-human presences, ancient alien tech right under our seas. What about current human operations down there?
Third, Lacerta claims about 17 larger military private underwater facilities globally. Philippine Sea, 900 meter deep, joint ventures, covert research stations, strategic installations monitoring these deep-sea secrets, also extensive underwater monitoring networks around Hawaii, etc., tracking conventional navies and non-human tech.
A whole secret undersea world of military ops driven by finding these ancient alien presences, any natural phenomena being kept secret.
Fourth, Lacerta highlights suppressed natural finds. Certain hydrothermal vents in the Indian Ocean harbor complex organisms challenging evolutionary models, classified because they imply incompatible evolutionary paths. Also, 7 major anomalous magnetic formations on the ocean floor, natural but with inexplicable properties. Lacerta reveals these serve as navigation markers for their own species' subterranean movements.
Wow. Our oceans. A vast, unknown frontier. Hidden history, secret activities, ancient navigation systems.
It really is. The strategic value is immense, driving tech development undercover. The oceans hold a record that would fundamentally challenge our understanding of Earth and its inhabitants.
And within these oceans, are there other intelligent species? Not human, not Lacerta's kind, living down there.
This is truly profound. Yes, our oceans harbor several non-human, non-reptilian intelligent species. Their presence is incredibly old, carefully concealed. These are some of the oldest continuous civilizations on Earth, having mostly avoided the surface destruction cycles. Their perspective on planetary history offers invaluable context far beyond the brief human emergence period.
Astonishing. Multiple ancient, non-human civilizations living alongside us.
Yeah.
How many distinct groups?
Lacerta details 3 distinct groups. First, the primary aquatic civilization, native to Earth. Evolved entirely in our oceans over maybe 30 million years.
30 million years.
Humanoid upper body, cephalopod-like lower extremities. Live in deepest trenches, Mariana, Tonga, Philippine, Puerto Rico. Tech focuses on biological pressure-based systems. Manipulate water properties, use crystals for info storage.
30 million years of continuous civilization. Almost incomprehensible. The other groups.
Second, an extraterrestrial aquatic group from the Sirius system. Established presence here 200,000 years ago. Observation posts. Superficially similar to native aquatics, but biologically distinct. Advanced quantum-level tech. Maintain about 30 global facilities very deep, 4,000, 6,000 meters.
Alien observers in our deepest oceans for hundreds of thousands of years. And the third group.
Third, perhaps the most enigmatic, dimensional refugees. Flooded into our reality from an interdimensional conflict 15,000 years ago. Exist partly in our physical dimension, partly in adjacent frequencies, appearance shifts, concentrated mainly in the Indian Ocean, 90 East Ridge, manipulate matter energy via consciousness, appears almost magical.
Beings from another dimension, in our oceans. How do these different species interact with each other, with humans?
All three groups maintain strict protocols to avoid human detection, due to perceived human aggression, exploitation. Naval powers have encountered them, but all info is instantly classified. Lacerta's species maintains formal diplomatic relations with the primary aquatic civilization. Respectful relations with the Syrian group, the dimensional entities remain largely isolated. This revelation highlights these aquatic civilizations are among the oldest continuous societies here. Having avoided the surface destruction cycles, their perspective offers invaluable context beyond our brief, turbulent human history.
This deep dive, it paints a picture of humanity as definitely not alone. Hidden histories, ancient tech, multiple non-human intelligences sharing the planet, the oceans. Lacerta states that developing a more symbiotic relationship with all Earth's intelligent species is maybe the most critical challenge facing humanity.
Yeah.
How do we even begin to do that?
It really requires a profound shift, doesn't it? Lacerta is clear. This isn't just about tech or treaties. It demands humanity transforms. Moving from a dominance-based mindset to one of mutual respect, genuine understanding, coexistence with all life, a total reevaluation of our place in the cosmic order.
So what are the fundamental requirements for this true symbiosis according to Lacerta?
Lacerta outlines several interconnected needs. First, recognition. Humanity must fully acknowledge the existence, the legitimacy of other intelligences. On Earth, within Earth, beyond. Requires a huge shift away from human exceptionalism. In science, law, culture, asking, does it show complex problem-solving, self-awareness, not does it look and think like us?
Expanding our definition of intelligence itself. What about actually communicating with species? So different.
Second, technologies for genuine communication. We need to invest in tech designed to bridge deep communication gaps, like direct consciousness interfaces for shared experiences, beyond spoken written language to fundamental understanding. Crucially, approaching these with openness, desire for understanding, not for strategic advantage or exploitation, which Lacerta suggests is often the military research goal.
And our relationship with the planet itself, that seems absolutely key.
Fundamental, yes. Third, transform operational relationship with planetary systems, radical redesign of economic models, prioritize ecosystem integrity over relentless resource extraction, unsustainable growth, develop tech that integrates harmoniously with nature, circular economies, energy from planetary fields, infotech enhancing direct perception, not replacing it.
Are there specific steps Lacerta suggests for interacting with their species, or the aquatics, beyond these broad ideas?
Yes. Suggests establishing protected interface zones. Designated areas for controlled contact, free from military or commercial exploitation, to build trust. Also needs sophisticated diplomatic exchange systems. Though Lacerta stresses humanity must first resolve its own fractured governance, internal conflicts. And most importantly, humanity needs to demonstrate sustained behavioral change. Consistent, verifiable actions over a long time. To overcome millennia of perceived human aggression, exploitation, that's a huge trust barrier.
That's a monumental shift in consciousness, from owner's masters to just one among many conscious participants. Why is that shift so hard for humanity?
That really hits the core issue, doesn't it? The fundamental challenge, Lacerta explains, is this shift directly threatens entrenched power structures, economic models, even core human identity. It undermines the narrative justifying human dominance, resource extraction. This, Lacerta argues, is precisely why evidence of other intelligences, deeper planetary history, is systematically suppressed. It's an existential threat to the current human paradigm.
So if direct perception is so vital for interacting with ancient tech, eventually other species, how can we modern humans start developing it? Or remembering it, as Lacerta puts it? Any basic practices?
Lacerta frames direct perception not as learning something new, but remembering something forgotten. An innate capacity obscured by cultural, technological conditioning. Stripping away filters.
Give us the basics, something practical listeners can try to start developing this inner tech.
Okay, first, foundational practice. Sensory baseline recalibration. Pick a simple natural object, stone, leaf, wood. Examine it without labeling, categorizing, naming it instantly. Focus purely on raw sensation. Color variations, texture, weight, temperature. Experience it directly before your mind imposes concepts. Return to pure sensory input.
Truly seeing, feeling it, like for the first time. What's next?
Second, field awareness expansion. Start with your breath. Gently expand awareness outward. Encompass your whole body, then the space around you, then wider. Aim to perceive energetic informational patterns beyond ordinary senses. Train awareness to perceive the totality of your environment, not just the material bits.
And sensing subtle energies around us.
Third, electromagnetic sensitivity development. Hands apart, palms facing. Focus gently on the space between. Notice subtle sensations, temperature change, tingling, pressure, resistance. Then extend this focus to bioelectric fields of plants, even objects. Develop sensitivity to subtle informational fields permeating everything, beyond just sight or touch.
Fascinating. Becoming more attuned. What about our perception of time?
Fourth, deconditioning temporal perception. Practice periods of deliberate timelessness. Put away clocks, devices. Let attention follow natural rhythms. Notice how perception expands, shifts, freed from strict chronological limits. Lacerta suggests our linear time constructs fragment consciousness, limits seeing deeper patterns.
And language itself. It shapes our reality so much. How does that fit in?
Fifth, linguistic deprogramming. Practice linguistic fasting. Time without internal chatter, reading, writing, speaking, consuming language. Gently return to direct sensory awareness. Experience the world without the constant internal commentary, labeling. Reduce dominance of symbolic processing that filters direct experience.
These sound like deep, foundational practices. Could genuinely shift awareness. Any practical tips for doing them?
Lacerta offers clear tips. Start brief, 5-10 mins daily, but be absolutely consistent. Favor natural environments less energetically noisy. Be wary of compounds promising accelerated perception but creating dependency. True perception is self-generated. As perception strengthens, gradually reduce reliance on external tech, the biggest barrier. Resistance from your conditioned identity. Direct perception will reveal info contradicting established beliefs, comforts. Needs willingness to have your reality repeatedly challenged, rebuilt.
Wow. Wow. From hidden energy systems under Giza, to alien aquatic civilizations in our trenches, to a call for a complete reset of human consciousness. This deep dive has been an extraordinary journey into what Lacerta claims is the unseen reality of our planet. It really does expand your mind, ask profound questions about our place.
Indeed. What really stands out from all these Lacerta accounts is that consistent theme. Patterns repeat when consciousness remains unchanged, regardless of technological advancement. It's a stark, sobering reminder, isn't it, that our current path, if we don't examine it, change it fundamentally, could lead to a very familiar conclusion, like the civilizations before us.
So what does this all mean for you, listening right now? Maybe the greatest technology isn't something we build or dig up, but something we remember how to use. That capacity for direct perception. What stands out to you from this deep dive? What layers of information, hidden truths will you explore next as you navigate your own reality?